But right now we have another great tool to commence. Our next segment is all about our creative courses. And I will now be joined by Alan. Alan is our curriculum manager of art and design. And we're also joined by Christine. Christine is a curriculum manager for fashion, graphic design and media. Welcome both. Nice to see you guys.
Hello.
Hello, hi.
And we've also got Russell, who is joining us on the fourth floor, I think, by our art and design block, from what I can see behind him. So I think what we'll probably be doing, what we'll do is, whilst Russell kind of walks around and shows us the facilities, maybe Alan, Christine, if you want to just fill us in on what sort of areas are covered, what courses are covered in those particular areas, and then maybe Russell could take a breather and he could just tell us a bit more about what goes on in that section. So.
Okie dokie. So, Russell, are you going to kind of wander around generally, or how are you?
Yes, I'm up here in the art and design corridor at the moment. I can dip into a few rooms, and then I was thinking of going up to the photography room in a second. I mean, is there any art rooms that you'd like to show us?
Well, I think if you sort of pop into anywhere along that corridor, basically what you find in this area are a range of sort of general purpose art and design, fine art workshops, where you will see a hugely kind of varied array of work. I think the room you're in now at the moment is one of our level 2 spaces. So the students there have been working on some very, very large scale pieces, I believe, there. But I think, you know, across the board with our courses, one of the things we try and do is kind of, for want of a better term, sort of educate the whole student. It's very much about kind of portfolio skills, so that it's not just about kind of dealing with creativity. It is about all the other kind of softer skills, whether sort of literacy, numeracy, interpersonal skills, social skills, etc., etc., etc. We encourage people to be as kind of curious and as inventive as they possibly can, and you know, kind of basically just kind of experience everything that's around them. What you're seeing on the wall at the moment there are a range of large-scale paintings, I think from some of our level 2 and level 3 art and design students. And I think shortly, Russell, you'll be coming to possibly some of the level 3 spaces, I believe, if yes, you will do.
This is the fine art studio in this room here.
Yeah, so lots and lots of general purpose space areas where kind of, you know, we work very in sort of quite a messy kind of way, or you know, sort of work at PCs and Macs and that kind of thing.
Alan, do our students get the chance to exhibit their work? I mean, as part of their course?
They do indeed. At the end of every academic year, or indeed during the year as well, we have some large-scale exhibitions, usually happening around and about now. So very shortly, our online creative festival, that will be in early to mid-July, will happen. Normally, we will be sort of exhibiting work both on site and off in the Sadler Centre in Walsall and all over the college as well. So yeah, you know, there's lots of opportunities for students to showcase the work and get it out there into the public domain. I can see that you're in the 3D workshop at the moment, looking at some some ceramic heads. So yeah, so on this particular floor of the college, you have, as I said, a range of general purpose studios. You also have some specific workshops like 3D. You have the photography area, fine art workshop, that kind of thing. So it looks like now you're heading down the photography corridor. So our photography programs, one of the kind of exciting things for me with this is that you can join us on a sort of completely beginners level course, level 1, progress through to level 2. These are part-time programs. And then our courses will take you all the way, oh, that's a dark room, all the way through level 3, right into level 4, 5 and 6 up to BA in partnership with BCU. So there is, you know, there are lots and lots of opportunities for you to pursue your sort of passion for that particular media all the way through it. It's a very exciting and dynamic area. What you're outside there, Russell, is the light trap between the prep area and the dark room itself. So I don't know if you want to climb into that or not.
Yeah, I don't know if I dare go in here. I don't know where I'll end up.
Yeah, but what we've, what we're very proud of is that we run very, very clear kind of photography. It's up to you if you want to do that or not.
It'll be a bit dark for film.
Yeah, a very, very strong spread of programs, which basically we work with digital media, obviously, but we're also very proud of our traditional sort of photographic practices as well. We have a large dark room, a large studio, several studio facilities, I should add, and lots and lots of opportunities for students to sort of get out into the world and make work, really, and engage with businesses, etc., etc.
Just a question, sorry. If anyone was interested in art and design courses at the college, in terms of applying for the course, I'm assuming you would want to see a portfolio?
We would indeed, yes. Admission generally is by a portfolio of work. I think we expect generally people who may want to come onto the programs to be, engaged, passionate, and sort of fired up about their particular area of interest. So we would, we'd be expecting to see whether it was drawings, paintings, photographs, whatever it might be, a body of work on which to sort of base that assessment of where best to place people.
Okay, that's great to know. It looks like Russell was just over at the photography. If he when he joins us back, that's fine.
Okay, well, I mean, I think generally in art and design as well, we just wanted to sort of briefly mention the spread of programs, because we offer courses from our level 2 program right the way through level 3 extended diplomas, and then into our foundation level programs and HNC, HND, and level 6 degree programs as well. So there's a huge spread of stuff on offer.
Do you want to explain to some of our viewers what the foundation program is? Because I think there might be a few people that might not know what that is.
Okay. Yeah. Well, foundations are really, really interesting and exciting kind of course. It's one of those programs that's been around for a very, very long time, and it's the traditional bridge between level 3 courses, whether that's a national diploma or whether that's A level, and university. It's very, very dynamic. It's 1 year long, and it's very, very immersive. So it gives students an opportunity to explore the sort of length and breadth of their interest. And the general aim of the course is, as with most of our other level 3 programs, to enable access into university. So on a course like that, you might study photography, 3D, sculpture, printmaking, fine art, etc., as well as having a personal studio space to sort of, build your skills ready for the university experience. I would say that something around sort of mid 90, about 95% of students will progress to university. All students apply, to university will achieve a place. The profile for that program in terms of grades are generally much higher distinction grades than the national average. And we usually have students progressing to very good universities, Central St Martin's, that kind of thing, Kingston, so on and so forth. Now I can see that Russell appears to have
so he's in the fashion room.
Arrived in the fashion area. Over to you, Chris.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened to this person. This isn't a member of staff at stage.
Have you spotted something you like there?
Yeah. So Chris, could you just talk us?
Well, Russell has found himself in the middle room of the fashion department there, which is the pattern. No, it's not the pattern cutting room. It's the machine room. Sorry. So you can see the little green cloths are hiding all the industrial sewing machines that the students. There's one that the students have access to. So they learn to use all the industrial specific when they're learning to be fashion students. So they start, you've kind of got the end of the process there. They start with the design, and then they work all the way through to making patterns, drafting their own patterns, and then they make the clothes. There's ironing boards, industrial ironing boards. So Russell, if you go through that next door to your right, like Challenger, isn't it? Right, there you've got the pattern cutting tables. You can see the 3 pattern cutting tables. So the students draft their patterns on there for the designs that they've already created, and then they follow the whole process through from design right through to finished garment. So by the time they finish the courses, they know how to design and how to make clothes. And also there are aspects of textiles as well, so they can do prints, they can do all sorts of different embroidery techniques on their journey to design and make their clothes. So you can see there's quite a few. A lot of them have different purposes, so they're not all sewing machines. Some are overlockers, some are they create the hems and all sorts of different techniques. Okay, so if you go through the next door, right there we have the domestic sewing machines. They're all out. They're not usually out like that. They're out because they get tested once a year, so they have to be pack tested. So it looks like quite a heavy resource there of domestics, but they're usually in boxes away in a cupboard. So what they're sitting on at the moment is 2 further pattern cutting tables for the students to make their patterns, so they can make the patterns in one room and then go through to the sewing machine rooms. And the fashion courses go through from level 1, part-time level 1, right through to level 6 degree level that we do with our partners at BCU, Birmingham City University. There's a whole spectrum of engagement that you can do at different levels.
Chris, do our students get the chance to put these, what they create on show?
Yes, yes. Well, where you're virtually sitting in front of is the atrium there, Nudge. And that's where we have our catwalk show, which we have our own catwalk. And so in June, about this time, usually, we would be having our annual fashion show where the students of all different levels can display their work. And it's a big collaborative affair. We have media students involved, photography, dance, performing arts. You know, we have a massive big collaborative event, which is, you know, one of the high points of the calendar for us.
Yeah, it's really vibrant. It is an absolutely fantastic opportunity.
Absolutely.
There's been a question actually that's come through from Facebook. What happens if you can't get a portfolio ready because you can't get to school or sixth form at the moment? And I guess this will probably apply for both yourself, Chris, and Alan.
I think the answer to that is quite straightforward. Just do whatever you can. Part of the exciting thing about creativity is that it is about working with you know, reduced means. Sometimes you might have the most expensive high-end Apple Mac, but it's going to be, you know, no use to you unless you've got ideas to drive that. So you know, some artists work with very, very simple media indeed. Whether it's pencils, biros, whether it's out there in nature. So don't worry about that. Just do some stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
and enjoy it.
Yeah, the same for you as well, I guess, Chris.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we've had students have to, instead of making clothes full size, they've been working on Barbie dolls or whatever, you know, whatever they've got around the house. So, you know, it's just about applying creativity to this difficult situation, really. And, you know, I mean, even if you come in with some drawings on lined paper in biro, at least we can see, you know, what you can do with the means that you have. And you know, we're expecting it to be an unusual year, and you know, we're going to passion for the subject translates in a number of ways.
Absolutely.
You know, they could do some blogging. They could do, you know, there's all sorts of online things that they could be working, apps they can download. They could do work, you know, on their phones even. So don't be discouraged because you don't have a big fancy black folder. You know, we can see through that and look at the core.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you're absolutely right, Chris. You know, and at the end of the day, it is all about creativity. A question that I often have from parents is, you know, if my son or daughter comes and joins one of these courses, you know, well, are there any jobs? What are they going to do? You know, and at that point, normally, I would ask them to pause and take a look around them and ask them to basically try and mentally remove anything that doesn't have a creative impulse behind it. So that then doesn't leave very much, you know, because whether it is tables, chairs, floor coverings, whether it is the clothes you're wearing, whether it is whatever it might be. There are so many things in the world that need, creativity to actually be part of that process. And also, during this very, very challenging time with lockdown, what have we been doing? Watching movies, reading books, playing games, crafting, making, whatever it might be. It's all part of that big picture, so to speak.
Yeah,
that's a great point, actually.
Yeah, and I think in terms of fashion as well, I mean, before the lockdown, there was a big backlash against fast fashion and the consumerism that's been going to come into a head, really. And now people are being able to have a bit of time, learn some crafts, really take time to reflect, what's valuable to people, and and instead of thinking, I'm going to go up to Primark and buy 50 quid's worth of stuff that's going to last me a couple of months, is that they'll think, well, I'm going to invest, I'm going to buy something really beautiful that's been crafted. And so, we need those craft people. We need to educate those people how to do those, how to make things beautiful and not just fast.
Yeah. I can see that looks like Russell's in our media, one of our media rooms. Hi, Russell.
Yeah. I'm just in. I'm just in one of our graphic design.
I was going to say, you skipped graphics. But you haven't. That's great.
No, I'm in graphic design room. So, could you tell us a bit more about those courses?
Yeah. Right, the graphics course. I think actually you're in one of the fashion rooms, but it's a good room to be in terms of the digital side of the curriculum. So this is where fashion students learn to work digitally and do designs on various packages that we use, which are industry standard. So also the room, pretty much identical where you are now, is a graphics room where again they work on their digital skills, but we want the graphics students to, rather than just kind of be able to just work online and digitally, we want them to develop their visual communication and visual studies as well. So as I can see, if you just move the camera to where those chairs are upturned, that's it.
Yeah, so the graphic design room isn't accessible at the moment, but
no, that's fine. It illustrates it in the same way. So those tables there are for students to be able to break out from working on the computers and work on sketchbooks and work in more traditional media. So they can then use that to scan back into the work they're doing on the computer. So they get a really good, unique mixed media approach to graphics.
I think in many ways, it's about workflow, if you want to put it like that. So that, for instance, whether it is in a graphic design studio where you can move from digital to analog and back again, it's the same with photography in terms of the fact that we have digital studios, digital labs, but equally we have kind of traditional wet dark rooms, etc., etc. So in fashion as well, that thing about shifting between the design process and the making back to the design again, I think those connections are really, really important.
Yeah.
Just a quick one. In terms of the tutors that teach these areas, they're all from industry already, aren't they? So they've got a ton of...
a lot of them are still practitioners in the industry. So they've worked in industry, but they still work as practicing artists, or work in in the industry that they teach. So they have up-to-date knowledge of the industry, and they can keep translating that over to the students and get fresh ideas. We also have industry informing the work that we do with the students, as well as setting projects for them. We get live briefs a lot of in all of the subject areas, really. We get people contacting us all the time saying, could the students design a logo or produce a film, or do a mural. So we're constantly innovated, and we accommodate as many of those as possible, which we feel will enrich the curriculum and give the students more diversity in their portfolios.
That's really good. In terms of the software that students use, I'm assuming it will be the kind of the latest versions of software.
Yeah, the students get all the latest Adobe suite through Home Access. There's no need to to invest in expensive kits in order to join any of our courses. They can do things on the minimum spec. Behind you, the learning decks. We encourage students to work outside lessons, and either in college, or now we're doing more from home. you know, they can do it from home access and work at home, wherever they're comfortable, really.
Sure. So it looks like, Russell, now you're in the media room now.
Yeah, I've now gone down to media, Chris. So
Okay. Yeah.
give us a bit of an overview of what goes on in there.
Okay. Yeah. In this room, I think you're in the map room there, which is the editing suite. So the students who they again, you're at kind of the end of the process there, which they have planned their shoots, storyboarded in answer to a brief, and then they filmed footage, and then they come in and they use the map suite to edit the work that they're doing. Again, on the industry standard kits, but also the programs.
Do we have we got like a green room as well? And
Yeah, the TV studio. Yeah. Yeah, I think you need to go 2 along for that one.
Okay.
It should be open.
Oh, here we are.
There we go.
Yes.
So this is where we do a lot, because you've got the green screen, so students can then project anything they want, their imaginations onto there from when they're filming. They can also do interviews in there. You've got all the light kits, and they've got cameras, film, or everything you need really, sound equipment.
Sorry, you might hear an ice cream van behind me now. It's that time of the day when the ice cream van decides to pop round.
Yeah. You can buy ice creams, everything.
Wait for them to carry on. And again, media tutors, all the tutors across our country.
Yeah. Well, we have award-winning filmmakers on our team, people that have worked in PR with all international TV programs. You know, absolutely, the wealth of experience is mind-blowing really on the team. They've, anything you need them to have done, someone in the team would have had experience at it. Yeah. And they're a fantastic team. The whole creative industries team are, I would say that. But yeah, no, they're very keen. And
yeah, no, I vouch for that, definitely.
Yeah.
Whilst Russell's moving on to the next section, do you want to just mention about our music provision? And unfortunately, we're not going to get time to pop to that particular campus, but
that's absolutely fine, Nigel. I mean,
yeah.
I think Russell may be popping into the venue. I don't know. I think if he's heading downstairs.
He's probably. I was just going to say, we are doing a specific music-related half an hour actually on
1st of July, is that? Yeah.
So hopefully Derek and his team, our music department, can give you lots more in-depth information. But yeah, Alan, if you want to.
Yeah, no worries. This, in keeping with a lot of our other BTEC provision, we have a new level 3 course commencing this year with 2 distinct pathways, which is music performance, music production. Targeting the broad range of skills required to work within the music industry. As with the rest of the staff, we have, our staff are very experienced. They are, performing musicians, very wide skill set. Lots of opportunities and facilities in terms of access to resources. We've got 5, I think, or is it 6, 5 rehearsal studios, the large-scale performance venue, which I think that looks like where Russell is at the moment. Fully equipped recording studio, etc., etc. There you are now. Yeah, very vibrant and exciting course, which, like everybody else, they do an awful lot of sort of live assignments, and they work in conjunction right the way across college, performing at lots and lots of different events throughout the year, as well as externally, places like the Walsall Arboretum, etc., etc. Anyway, over to you, Russ. Hello.
Yeah, so I'm in the venue, which is, I think it's about 180 capacity.
Something like that, yeah.
Venue, isn't it? That we, as well as delivery, doing teaching, we do performances and things like that, don't we, Alan?
Indeed.
We have dance, acting, and the whole spectrum of musical theatre. Everything goes on in this room. Yeah.
And you can see there's a lot of kit, isn't there, up here? So,
absolutely. If you turn round into the behind you. No, sorry, the other way. Do a 360. There you go, in there.
Yeah, so you've got the control room there.
Yeah. That's where all the
lighting
sound,
control,
lights,
sound control, etc.
Yeah.
What's nice about this space as well is it's really, really flexible. So we can fold all of the seating back, and suddenly the room is huge in terms of its capacity as well, just for kind of different types of performance.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because this room can be used for dance, but we also do have another dance studio as well, don't we? Which I'll take you to next.
Yeah.
Okay. Russell, will you have time?
Anything else?
Yeah, will you have time to pop to the printmaking room at all down the other end of the first floor corridor?
Yeah, of course.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
I just want to have a quick look at the dance studio first.
Yeah.
Great.
So we do quite a lot of work with, for instance, the Birmingham Hippodrome, don't we? And is there anybody else we work quite closely with?
Yeah, the Birmingham Rep, the RSA, RSC. Sorry, RSA. Yeah, we have lots of small companies and national companies, local companies that we work with in dance and in acting and music as well. Yeah. Oh, the lights are not.
A little bit dark in there.
There we go. Yes. So that's a sprung floor with all the necessary health and safety. So my colleague's just been in there today. She's just had a meeting. She's just been dancing with a group of students in there. So they've been working during lockdown in small groups, small socially distanced groups, but they're still working hard on keeping their work going. So
yeah,
it might be worth mentioning as well about this area also has changing rooms and areas for students to prepare for performances. I mean, is it worth letting people know what equipment that they need and what sort of what they'll need to bring when they're studying? Yeah,
when they start, it's just a case of bringing something comfortable that they can work in. We do provide uniforms for the performers, so particularly if they're working backstage, they wear black. But they've got because they work through not just the performance, they work backstage, they work in with front of house. So to keep everything professional, because they're actually a professional company. They wear this uniform that we provide for them.
What kinds of trips do our students get the opportunity to go to? I'm assuming they get a chance to go to theatre.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. They go to theatre, Birmingham, Stratford, London as well. The National Theatre. So
and that's across creative industry. Students will go on visits to galleries, museums, whatever. Oxford, London, Birmingham, Liverpool, so on and so forth.
But not only do they go on trips, but they've actually worked and performed with these these high profile companies. We've had students doing performances to start off, the larger performances, and absolutely brilliant experience they get. Yeah, phenomenal.
That would be amazing. It looks like Russell is
in the print room by the look of it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, this is one of my favourite rooms in the college. If you want to spin round there, Russell, I think you're in the you're in the prep room at the moment. So basically, this is where we prepare all screens and stuff like that for screen printing. But if you would like to go into the main room, essentially, if you're on a graphic design, art and design, fashion course, whatever, you will come through this area. We undertake, what have we got? Let's just think. Etching presses, screen printing, we do lino cuts, all that sort of stuff, monoprints. It's a very vibrant and quite exciting area.
Well, what's this?
Oh, you got some. Watch your hands there, Russell. Don't get too close. But yeah, so we've got lots of very traditional presses. We work with very sort of analog media as well as digital as well, drawing rackware. So it's a really exciting area, and pretty much all of our, certainly the art and design, graphics and fashion students will move through this space. So yeah, and I'm just thinking, Russ, is there anywhere else you're going to visit now, or is that pretty much it?
Well, yeah, I'm yours, Alan. You can send me wherever you like.
Chris, any ideas?
Well, can I just mention that we've got Performing Arts are going to be doing a live Facebook session, aren't they?
Yes, so next week we've got 3 sessions booked up. So we've got, I think Monday, I think it's dance. Tuesday we've got acting, and Wednesday we've got music. So if you want to tune in on Facebook Live, it's at 4 o'clock. It's for half an hour, and it is specifically just half an hour of those particular curriculum areas. So you'll get to find out things like equipment you might need, entry requirements, employers we've worked with, trips, work experience. It will be really, really in-depth information on those ones. So please do pop along and watch those if you can.
It's an exciting time for performing arts as well, because we're going to be joining more performances together. So students become what we call the triple threat, which is singing, dancing and acting. So they have more broad skills in order to be able to, you know, to find employment easier, but still be able to learn what they need to know in specialisms of dance and acting. So, you know.
Yeah, I think one sort of mere final thing from me here is our partnership with the New Art Gallery Walsall. Really, really important and sort of deep and rich partnership, which offers our students, you know, pretty much unprecedented access to the heart of their collections. We have students working on sort of curatorial projects. We have students exhibiting there. Yeah, it's a very, very exciting relationship we have, and I would sort of, one of the things we, you know, students essentially are expected to engage with the gallery as part of, even before induction. You know, we recommend that students commence that process before they even, you know, start with us within their studies. So, and that certainly happens, you know, throughout the academic year. Students are invited to all of the exhibition openings, so on and so forth.
Can I just say as well, I mean, sort of going back a little bit to what you said, the question that you asked about portfolio and any worries that students have got about schools having the work, is that, you know, if they can keep some kind of little visual diary of lockdown, that would be brilliant, you know, to sort of just look out the window, you know, just things that they feel and are thinking about this time. It's such a unique time that that's going to be such a fabulous record of this time if they do that, you know. So rather than just do it as a purpose to get into a college, if they could do that just as a creative outlet, you know, that would be fantastic. And also, you know, if it's a student that does a more performance-based subject, that they could film themselves on TikTok doing a, you know, a performance of whatever they want to do and show that. So, you know, there's lots of different things that they could do and apply their creativity to.
Fantastic. Lots of ways around and into this. So
absolutely.
Don't panic, everybody. I think
that's the beauty of the subject. It adapts to the different times.
That's fabulous. So that's great. We've come to the end of your section now. It's been really insightful, and hopefully the viewers got to see a lot of our fantastic facilities. And again, if anyone has got any further questions, please send an email over to info@walsallcollege.ac.uk, and we can send your questions through to Chris, Allen and their team of amazing tutors, and they're really helpful bunch, so they'll get back to you. So thanks, Alan.
No, that's great. Thank you, Russell. Thank you, Naj.
Thank you.
I've enjoyed it. Thanks. Bye.